Mr. Speaker, like members around Australia, I've been hearing from and trying to assist dozens of people every week who are simply trying to get home from overseas, or in some cases hoping to travel in order to be with loved ones who are seriously ill. This global pandemic has turned our world upside down. It's changed a world in which many of us in a country like Australia had previously been able to take national and international travel in our stride with relative ease. That's no longer the case, and in WA we absolutely understand the need for a strong approach to borders, and we'll defend that approach, the approach taken by the McGowan government against the black and yellow menace of Clive Palmer and his Liberal Party boosters over here, because our strong border approach has kept us safe, and to a large degree it's kept our economy going, which is good for WA and it's vital for Australia as a whole. But of course there have been enormous personal impacts and a lot of heartache as a result of people being stranded overseas. And even with proper border and quarantine arrangements, there should be a workable and fair system to get people home. There are 23,000 Australian citizens currently stuck in other countries, and of that group 3,450 are considered medically or financially vulnerable. Labor is today calling on the government to do more to address this issue, including through support for charter flights and by taking strong action against some of the terrible price gouging that is going on. Deputy Speaker, in the early months of the pandemic I worked to support the family of a young man hospitalised in Africa, and shortly after that an elderly couple who'd disembarked a cruise ship in Italy and were stuck there. My office has sought to help Steve and Christina and their two young children who were in the Philippines when the pandemic took off. They couldn't secure flights. They travelled to Hong Kong and were then stuck for weeks in hotel lockdown as their money began to run out. It was not until the end of June that they made it back to Fremantle. Deputy Speaker, Australians understand that the circumstances we face require discipline, forbearance and sacrifice. They understand that flights are limited, our consular services are under strain, and our system of hotel quarantine can only work effectively if the stream of people coming through is kept to a manageable level. But we should not underestimate the stress and the anxiety and the fear that many of our fellow citizens are facing in seeking to come home or to visit a relative overseas who's coming to the end of their life. And it certainly does not help when it turns out that approvals to travel have been granted to people going off to collect and return to Australia with a yacht, or when a former Prime Minister gets to jet off to the UK in pursuit of a new and lucrative job. Deputy Speaker, all Australians need to have confidence that there's a system in place that is sensible, transparent, properly resourced and fair, and the government needs to do a lot more to assist stranded and vulnerable citizens. It's not happening at the moment. There are thousands of people who are financially and medically vulnerable. They need assistance, and the government should be pulling out all the stops to help get them home.